Welcome back to the wonderful world of NSA. Oh dear. Well, we have Adrian Rice here, again, aka Papa Bear. Myself, I am Devin Ketch, aka the Muffin Man. And it's question 3. And today we're going to be talking about how can someone fall away having the beliefs they do? Meaning that somebody who is either a part of our church or already a devout Christian, but likely already a disciple in the terms of our church, meaning the LAICC. So what do you feel about that, Adrian, especially from a philosophical or theological point of view?
Well, I think before we can even answer this question, I just want to make our viewers aware of another major road that you could take on, another possible answer that will give contrasting ours. And that is the position of the Calvinist. Because the way the question is asked, how can someone fall out of their beliefs or how can someone fall away, that already assumes that one can fall away. And there's a position, that of the Calvinists or Reformed, they believe that you can't fall away. And you can remember their doctrine quite easily with the acronym TULIP, T-U-L-I-P, which is...
Do we have flowers too?
No, unfortunately, they don't smell that great. The Calvinists.
Oh, well. What was that saying?
So, T-U-L-I-P, total depravity, unconditional election, limited atonement, irresistible grace, and perseverance of the saints. And the idea that you can't fall away is in the P, perseverance of the saints, which means that if you are elected, which is unconditionally elected, this is the U, then that means, and combined with the irresistible grace, because it's so irresistible and it's given to you, you cannot fall away. So, although in the end, I disagree with them, and I think that's the church's position as well. I think it is something that that it might be worth looking into, because there are a lot of people who do believe in this, and it is something to consider. And like I said, in the end, I don't think their doctrine is correct. I think some tenets of their theology is misguided, but it is something to take note of. So, what do you think?
Well, as for the Calvinists, I do feel very sad for them. There are some people also that use it as a license, and then they'll go forth and they'll say that they're still a believer, but they live their life, doing whatever they want to do in all sorts of sin, and sort of living it up, you could say, without any thought of the possible consequences, of the eventual godly reprimand that they will receive. And so, at least for that matter, I'm very shocked. But what do you think about just other philosophical or theological issues you think people might have? Do you think that's a cause for them falling away?
No, and I think it's very rare that theological or philosophical issues are the reason to fall away.
So, I guess what they might be asking is, do you think that somebody who's a young Christian who goes out, and meets an atheist and, hits a little snag and is not sure what to say, do you think that person is likely to then just go off and just commit spiritual suicide, you could say?
No, I don't think that's a reason to do that at all. Although I do hear of cases where that does happen, I think that is irrational. And
how have you personally handled those objections when you haven't heard of something?
Well, what I have found personally is when I come across an objection or a question that I can't answer on the spot, or I can't find a satisfactory answer right away, because I have done research, I've taken my time, I've done research, and in the end, I always get an answer that I like, and it leads me back to God. I am confident always when a new question arises that is foreign to me, that I will be led back to God. So I might be a little shaken at first, but I do trust that there is an answer. But
never stirred.
Right. But I am never...
You know there's an answer, right?
Yeah, I know there's an answer, because God has always provided an answer for me. And so I trust He will continue doing that. At first it was scary, but because I've gone through that so many times, I know that He will provide.
Wonderful. Obviously, there's also for the most part, at least in our church, there's an emotional side of things, as there is to everything. But for whatever reason they might think of, someone will choose to leave the church or leave God, or however they want to say it, because of how someone has treated them, or because of how a family member has reacted to their joining the church or to being baptized or whatnot. And so what you often see is somebody slowly over time getting bitter, starting then to say things about a certain leader or a certain brother, a certain sister, and this starts to escalate and escalate and escalate, and the amount of bitterness just grows and wells up slowly over time, until they can't take it anymore, or until they just explode, and out of the shame of their explosion in front of people, they just choose to leave. And then after that, they choose to blame it often on theological or philosophical issues. As Adrian said, those issues are rarely the cause. More often than not, it's just somebody being hurt, not wanting to confront their own feelings, running away from their own feelings, and then blaming the church and trying to point out theological flaws, which aren't really there at all, to be honest. And you can see this would happen with the man named Kip McKean, and what happened with that church, and how there's now the City of Angels Christian Church. And you will often, if you encounter one of them, hear them saying things that we are lukewarm and whatnot. All of these things are not true whatsoever. Things that they may say that seem to be true, they may have been true at one time, but I can assure all of you these things have now changed. And a lot of that happened just with Kip leaving, so in some ways it's very ironic. But many people left the church in that certain time period when that happened, just because that they were hurt. That was the reason, not some sort of grandiose philosophical sort of essay or treatise by Nietzsche or by Kant or by any other famous philosopher, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates. Nothing by any one of those. It's only by themselves, their own personal philosophy of bitterness or love of hatred. And I can speak about this personally, seeing many friends who have either chosen to walk away, even my own family members have chosen to do that. And while my family member, they have admitted, that it is just that kind of personal feelings issue. Other people, they still go back to philosophy, and they'll say, oh well, it's all good, man. All paths, they lead to the same goal, or every road leads to heaven, or whatever you want to say. But those things are not true. We know from Jesus, there is one way, one truth, and one life. And that way can't be got through Adrian Urias or through Devin Ketch or whatnot. You can only go there through Jesus. Do a little Play-Doh thing. Come on, do the Play-Doh thing. Come on. Ooh. You guys have to go and look up the School of Athens if you want to know what that is. But that's what I have to say on that. And I've spent so much time talking about this because it is very important that you stay open with your feelings, that you follow 1 John 1 where it talks about walking in the light. Because really, we've all done things to hurt one another. And if you were to take all those things into account and you were to just base things on that... I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry too, though. If we were to take all those things into account, then we would all have a reason under that way for falling away. But that's not a real reason. It's just an excuse for not wanting to follow the narrow road or to deal with yourself, and that's the hardest thing to deal with, really. So I hope this question, this answering of this question has helped you, and we look forward to seeing you next time in question 4. And until then, stay open, stay wonderful, stay beautiful, stay away from us. Just kidding, we love you. And we'll be seeing you around church sometime. Love you.